Greetings, intercessors all over the world. Welcome once again to the gathering of the saints, where we gather in prayer for nations that are believing God for freedom. For we are looking at quite a lot that is happening, especially in Africa, where we are seeing a lot of oppression of men by men. You know, black people are oppressing their own black people. And yet the plan of God really for the nations is that people must enjoy, have progressive nations, peaceful nations, nations that care for their own. But it seems like the net is now beginning to widen as we see more and more so-called Democrats joining in those that are oppressing their own people. I hope you are doing well wherever you are watching us from. And I'm so excited each time that I see that the family is always available and already in prayer for the nation, especially our nation, the nation of Zimbabwe. Zambian opposition leader Kalaba set to give Hichilema a headache as he gains political momentum. You remember in the just yesterday we were talking about nyaya yaHichilema kuti ko Hichilema watirasa papi zvafamba sei kuti Hichilema achiwanikwa achienda kunoita endorse especially mbuya yepaTanzania iyi nezvayakaita whatever that she has done. Abantu bebezibuza sibili besithi kanti kuhamba njani ukuthi umuntu obethenjiwe sibili ku-Southern Africa ukuthi nguye esithi ngowethu usilahlisile watholakala esesiya attend inauguration le sibonayo eTanzania. And I was also saying that this could also start hammering negatively, especially on the reputation of President Hichilema, because you know, people are people and people will change. People will turn against you if you start to show kuti wakufuratira vanhu vanokufuratirawo futi hapana chinomboshamisira. He could have come in with a resounding victory, but he can also leave in the next elections with a very, very embarrassing defeat. Anything is possible. So, you know, especially in countries where the transfer of power has been happening so easily, smoothly, you know, it's very cumbersome for someone to think that they can just, you know, hold on. We have seen this happening in Malawi. Look at Malawi right now. Apana izoto rachakwera vachatonga one term obva atoenda chakwera akauya aine mbiri chaizvo ende uchakwera eMalawi wafika sibile tandwa ngabantu sebenzisa ilizwi likaNkulunkulu abantu bathi hayi nguye sesimtholile sibili, we have gotten an angel here, but that angel could not even go for the second term. So it's very possible, especially in countries where power has been leaving hands, you know, unlike what we have seen in our own context, in our own situation in Zimbabwe, just right inside ZANU-PF itself, for power to change, you know, hands is very difficult. Right in ZANU-PF, I'm not talking about, you know, at national level, just at party level. From before the war, they've been just, you know, performing coups after coups to remove one from power to the other. But when it comes to other countries like that, like South Africa, you know, what has also happened in Botswana, what we are seeing happening in, you know, in Malawi, you know, countries like that, it really shows that the systems are not that bad, that in terms of being corrupted or captured. Saka vana Hichilema, unless if he turns rogue, but akaita rogue futi achenjera kuzopedzisira aita sembuya futi yepaTanzania. Because when you discover that you are losing ground, you might end up, you know, behaving in ways that people never really expected. So we have a report that is talking about Kalaba is a man who is gaining ground right in the politics of Zambia. This Kalaba is said to have been born on the 12th of June of 1976 in Mansa district, Luapula province, and is a Zambian politician and currently president of the Citizen First Party. He has served as Minister of Foreign Affairs of Zambia from March 2014 to January 2018. He's also a former member of the Patriotic Front, which happens to be the Lungu Party, right? Somebody was asking me, Apostle, what happened with the Lungu story? I don't know. I was even asking myself also just about last week. Ina ndinazonzwa kuti zvakazopera sei ameno vakainzwa kuti yakazopera sei vakatitaura angazi ukona ino ozwini kuti ndava kalungu ipelele ngapi ngoba it just like died a natural death. So this Kalaba also, he served as a member of parliament for Bahati from August 2011 to February 2019. After leaving the Patriotic Front Party in 2019, he was chosen to stand as a presidential candidate in 2021 Zambian general elections for the Democratic Party. In July 2022, he left the Democratic Party after several issues, and in October 2022, he became the president of the Citizen First Party. So this is the man that we are hearing that he is really likely going to give a headache to Hichilema in the upcoming elections, as it is reported that Arku gainer political mileage a lot. Is gaining much high returns. In Zambia, President Hichilema faces a tough political challenge from Kalaba. Kalaba's CF is surging in polls, and the local and international media are taking him seriously. In his interview on BBC, he called out Hichilema's hypocrisy, especially because of his behavior towards Zimbabwe. Well, let's hear. But I should think that the thing that would really be very negative to Hichilema is this Tanzanian situation. So, courtesy of BBC, we acknowledge the BBC World News for this video. Let's just hear what transpired.
Tanzanian public was barred from attending the inauguration ceremony, which took place on Monday, but presidents from neighbouring nations, including Zambia, Burundi and Mozambique, were in attendance. Kenya's President William Ruto didn't attend. His deputy went instead. Well, we can speak now to Harry Kalaba, who is Zambia's former foreign minister and president of the opposition Citizens First Party. Welcome to the programme. You're displeased with your president's decision to attend the swearing-in ceremony. Why?
Well, I was displeased together with the Citizens First, and Zambians in general weren't happy because the president is displaying double standards. 2 years ago, if you remember, in 2023, there was an inauguration that was happening in Zimbabwe for President Emerson Mnangagwa, and President Hichilema declined to go and attend that inauguration, saying that the elections were not free and fair, despite SADC as well as the African Union saying that the Zimbabweans had met the minimum standards, the minimum standards criteria for the elections that were conducted. What has changed in Tanzania? Because in Tanzania, we have recorded deaths. In Tanzania, we have recorded opposition leaders being imprisoned. Key figures have been imprisoned. And that is an inauguration Mr. Hichilema goes to. Clearly speaking, Mr. Hichilema is being hypocritical, playing double standards, and is doing things only for his own personal interests and not for the region.
So this is, the man is saying that this is all personal. For personal interest, but we don't know what personal interest it is. Maybe you could help us to understand what exactly is happening. Remember yesterday, takaibata nyaya iyoyo kuti Hichilema awaenderei kuTanzania, and I was giving a reason that I saw in a report yekuti it is for the economic reasons. Hichilema is afraid that his economy could collapse if he has a fallout with the Chimbuya chepa Tanzania. Sikhuluma ngendaba yokuthi izolo besithi thina e-reporting enye enhlana la ibikhuluma ngendaba ze-economy. Isithi yena oyichilema wesaba ukuthi kungaba le bad blood between yena logogo lo weTanzania. Economy yakhe ingasafa, and at the end of the day even losing political muscle. So I don't know, this one is Harry is talking about personal things to do with Hichilema. We don't know how far that goes.
I suppose, though, doesn't Zambia as a nation need friendly, cordial relations with a neighbour? And by going to the inauguration of a president, no matter how disputed the election results are, would surely enable the president to put Zambians first rather than Tanzanians first, which I suppose is the job he's elected to do.
Yes, But when you look at what has precipitated, clearly the president has not even put Zambians first, he's put his own personal interests first. Because if you read the communique coming from his handlers at State House, they said the president traveled to attend that inauguration based on the fact that we had national interest to protect. But bilateral relations entail that you go beyond your own interests. It's to also safeguard the interests of the other nation. Now, given what has happened, what happens if in the next election we have another leader coming who has been affected by the elections that have happened now in Tanzania? It means we'll strain our relations with Tanzania.
Yes, definitely. I think there is a point there. I also mentioned this thing, and I said, no, how does Hichilema know that Chimbuya Chichabudirira? How sure is Hichilema that the old woman in Tanzania will prevail? What about if she finally falls, right? Like already we are going to be doing a show that is coming where there are talks about the International Criminal Court beginning investigations into the murders. A lot is happening, and also some more international pressure that is mounting. What happens if a new president comes in? If Hichilema was saying that he needs to maintain relations with the current Magogo. So it's really also very, very tricky, and it might also work against them in the end of the day. What they thought they are trying to protect is what will happen at the end of the day.
And that is what Mr. Hichilema could have avoided.
Now, as we know, election observers have raised concerns about the transparency of the election. Have you heard from opposition members from sister parties in Tanzania about what they say has been happening in the days since the vote?
Yes, I have had an opportunity to talk to about 3 of our colleagues in Tanzania. And clearly, they have told us that the elections were clearly tilted in favor of the ruling party, that there was no way the elections would have been won by anybody else but President Samia, and that if the same manner they have done the elections is the way they had conducted them before President Magufuli, may so rest in peace, and Samia came into power, they would not even have come into power because the elections that they have conducted now are skewed in favor of the ruling party. And clearly the opposition have been thrown out.
Have they spoken to you about any of the reports of violence, of killings that we've heard from elsewhere?
Yes, they have also mentioned that a number of people have died in the protest in Dar es Salaam, where there were a number of protests that had erupted, and that the government in Tanzania is trying to sit on this, trying to downplay the deaths of the opposition leaders, and clearly that is not the way it ought to be.
Right. So, courtesy of the BBC World News, this is the development. So we will continue to be watching how Zambian people are going to be responding, especially to this development of Hichilema going to endorse such kind of an election, which majority of the people are like, no, this is not it. I have seen a lot of professors, academians, and other politicians really condemning what happened in Tanzania. So let's keep watching and seeing what is going to be the end result at the end of the day, whether Hichilema is going to remain very popular or Zambians are going to respond in a certain way. We will keep watching and, of course, giving you updates of what will be happening. Otherwise, be blessed. Let's meet in the upcoming show. Shalom and shalom.